Okay, so we'll just hopefully I aim that we should be done in an hour's time since it's just maybe presenting how best to prepare. So just more of an interaction between the two of us, no much formalities. So I aim to do an introduction, which we've already done, overview of the interview process, discuss key interview topics, mock interview session, Q&A, and then closing remarks. So I'll just dive straight into overview of the interview process. Like from my experience last year, and I'm sure you guys have also noticed there's very limited resources on the internet of people sharing their experience and stuff like that. So when I was preparing last year, and also when I did the interview, it's very similar to the Chevening. Um, both of us, all of us, we know about Chevening, right?
Yes.
Yeah, head of
Okay.
shipping.
Yeah, it's kind of similar, but less rigorous. It's not as rigid as theirs, where you need to do the four essays and stuff like that. And also at the time, my panelist was a Chevening interviewer, so that's what even made me to use the resources of Chevening to prepare. So when I was using the resources of Chevening and the interview as well, it's focusing on community involvement, your leadership skills, networking, academic background, and then why you chose the University of Glasgow. So when I looked at the questions that they gave this year for the application, it's kind of different what we had uh, from what we had last year. If maybe you watched the video I did, you see that it was kind of
Yes.
different. It's when someone reached out to me that I saw that the questions were kind of different. But we'll look at it. I think there's a slide that I'll talk about that. So let me just going out to my interview proper. What my experience was like. The very first question, like we all know, is telling about yourself, who you are. Uh, at that time, I couldn't speak the Quran like this. I had because I've it's something I'm working on. Interview fright, even like speaking like that, stage fright and everything. So it was quite an experience for me. But the very first question was, tell me about yourself. Where at the time I just spoke my name, what I do. At that time I was civil engineer. I was working, so I was working, and then I dived straight to what I've done for my community because I was equally volunteering for one road safety project. So I talked about that as well. And then I said I'm aspiring to do a master's in this because it's going to help me. That's just a brief introduction, like that. I suppose all of us know how to answer the famous tell me about yourself question.
Mm, yeah, I think so.
Okay, how about yourself, White? I think
Yes,
so.
sure.
Okay, yeah. So then the main for my case, the whole interview, after that question, the very next question was, why do I think I married a scholarship? Which was what, because if you see these two questions, these two last questions here, this is what our essay was he asked us to provide. So we're just to explain why I think I married the scholarship and then why I chose the University of Glasgow. So on that interview day, these were the two questions that were asked. And I remember I prepared a very long answer. So she asked me why do I think I married the scholarship. So I think from my experience, the main points that I highlighted was I'm sure we know about the STAR technique. But usually I use the STAR technique when I'm writing my essays, and then when I'm doing an interview, I do the FAP, that's feature, attributes, and then benefits. Like I can talk about maybe I volunteered in my community in this, and this. During that time, I developed the skills, I developed the interest in this, and this. And due to that, I think like due to that experience, the benefit I have been able to identify this challenge, and I see that okay, I have the skills and I need this. So more like that, expanding on your application questions. I think this year with the questions, it was just limited to 200 words, which was very short. I don't even know how you guys managed to put in everything in that, but for you to be nominated with 200 words, I was like, wow. Because I tried correcting someone's AC and I was like, 200 words. What will you say? What will you not say? So it means you really need to be someone who knows how to, I don't know, condense your thoughts and everything. So another thing I also focused on was demonstrating what I've done, like my past achievements and my future goals. At the time, what I used for the application was that since I was involved in road safety and then uh, road crash is really something which is a main issue in my country. I don't know, let me just because for the interview I literally just explained my scholarship responses. This was it. This is my scholarship response here. So in fact I had some sort of a table. If you see this tree, so I was just like explaining, okay, I hope this table does not instead confuse us. But like this table, I try to explain, okay, this is the problem in the country, the context of the
We are
problem.
not seeing your
You can't
screen.
see the
We're
table
still,
Oh,
though.
we can't see your table yet.
okay, sorry. Let me. Oh, you can see now. These are my scholarship
Yeah.
responses from last year. So you can see was
Okay.
really the number of words was quite
Yeah, it was a lot.
enough. And if you see, you can see maybe SDGs. So I really spoke about the SDGs, bringing it out and stuff. So I was saying that I was more of explaining this my problem tree diagram where I spoke about the context. Road crashes are this, there's lack of this. Because when I was talking to them, I was selling like a solution to that. So I was like, I need this master's degree because I need to go back to my country and pioneer a road safety organization. I think that was the main thing. So I was mainly emphasized on the fact that there's the absence of this and there's the absence of people uh, people with this skill. So that's why I need to come right to the University of Glasgow to get this and go back to my country to do this. So that's just talking about demonstrating your capabilities. And I think last year, they did not even guide us enough to even tell us to bring out like a career development plan. This year was asked, right? I think so.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's just something like it. So you just want to see that you've actually thought about it and it's something that you've done before. And this master's degree is like the next big step. You see now to get into that's you can't go to where you want to go to without this master's degree, and it has to be something that has to do with your community. Uh, and then the confidence and preparation. I remember that they are also intense and my answers were so long. So I spoke, and then I was using mostly jargons. So because I remember when I did a preparation, the day before I did a preparation with a doctor, he did public health. So when I was speaking a lot in like engineering jargons and stuff. He was like, he can't even understand anything. And then he told me I should try to make it, let's say, something that any person will understand because your panelist will not be someone from your field. I tried my best, but on that day, with how tense I was, I could not. So I remember I spoke until the man who was like, okay, that's fine, I've understood you. So I could really see that I spoke a lot, but it was because I was tense. So with that, I think I'll say it's more of your attitude. Show them that you really want this, like confidence. If you're prepared, and if you really, you know when someone is talking about something they like, right? When you talk about
Yeah.
something you like, something you really want, you really show that enthusiasm and that it's not something you hide. So yeah, just a quick reminder that during this whole time, I'm not going to give sample answers. So I'll just be sharing from my experience and what I think is important. And with it, it'll be best that you go and frame your answers from that. Because if I give you maybe a sample answer, cramming all those things will, let's say, increase the stress, and you'll not really flow with them because you don't know what question will come your way. So,
Okay.
following that, I just have this little something I came up with, like why me, why them. I'll just try to explain it. It's just a little wheel which I developed this morning, which I think will help all of us. So, in my opinion, and looking at maybe past works and with all my research, every interview is about you telling your panelists why you and why them. So, with respect to the African Excellence Scholarship, the very first point is, if you have been reading about on the University of Glasgow page, you will see they always bring out the aspect of world changers, world changers. You're a world changer, you're a world changer. So that's just to sound the aspect of they educating you is educating someone who's going to impact his community or bringing a change to a particular community. So I think for the African Excellence Award is they want to educate Africans who can go back to their country and bring a change to their country. So in explaining why you should be able to bring out that aspect. For example, someone who, let's say, if you're applying for a computer degree or you're applying, if okay, let me take, both of you are in the medicine, in the health field, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, yes. So let's say, contrary to someone who will say, I'm going to I want this because I want to be a doctor. In fact, just focusing on yourself, I'm sure you understand what I mean. Like focusing maybe on yourself, that is because I want to be a doctor. Since when I was small, I've always envisaged to be a doctor because I love the job. In fact, just saying things are there. This is also one thing that it's kind of the difference between an undergraduate scholarship and a graduate scholarship is that with undergraduate scholarship, they want to hear more about your passion, that I love this because when I was small, this happened to me, and then I've seen. It's true that can bring some authenticity to your story, but in my opinion, with graduate scholarship is that I have done this. So you're not just telling them, you're showing them that, okay, I've been involved in this, and this shows that I'm really dedicated to this. So if you invest in me, I'll continue to be dedicated in this, and I'll be able to deliver what I'm saying. So that takes us now to the second point, your journey, explaining what you've been able to do this far. I look forward to doing this, and that's why it's imperative for my next big step. Let me take, for example, my case. Uh, I before applying to the University of Glasgow, I have a master's in civil engineering. So I was in civil engineering, more of structures and roads. So in my explanation, I was like, okay, now I've seen a challenge that I want to tackle in my community, which is road safety. And that is why, for me to be able to do this, I've seen that you need the skills and the knowledge in transport, in urban transport, and that's why I applied to this degree. I think that's one of the questions that they asked during the application phase. Why? Wait, let me see. I have the exact question. Am I speaking? This one you're breathing like that. Am I speaking a lot?
No.
Okay. um how does your chosen field of study align with your career goals? So yeah, that's the question. So kind of explaining that this is your career goal, so that's why this is your chosen field of study. Just to ask, Winifred, which course did you apply for? Public health?
No, not public health. Sports and exercise science and medicine.
Oh, okay, that's nice. All right, and then White, you said public health.
Yes, public health.
Okay, public health is very populated. Even when you go to their classroom, you see like 100 people. Very populated course. I have a friend who she's a Commonwealth scholar. She does public health, so at least I know a thing or two about them. And then for sports, uh, I don't know anybody there, but I'm sure it's under which department, under which school? Sorry.
Medicine, veterinary and life
Okay,
sciences.
yeah, then it's the same thing. You guys always have very lovely buildings. Okay, so apart from that, the next one is aligning to your SDGs and international development goals. Like we all know, this is in line with SDG. I don't know health. I know of SDG 3, but I don't know the other SDGs. But in my case, I had SDG 3, I had SDG 11, which has to do with sustainable cities. And then highlighting the skills you have, where you developed it, how you put them into use during and after the program. So yeah, talking about teamwork skills, I'm sure we all know about these things, but let me try to see highlighting the skills you have, depending on, okay, you've been, it's just I'm very limited when it comes to health and medicine. But we all understand this point, right?
Yeah.
Or should I
Yeah.
expand?
Yeah.
But highlighting the skills you have now, maybe for like always emphasize if you're working, say that okay, you have developed these skills from work. It could be any skill. A good thing because I remember when I was doing my career development plan, I looked for a job that I envisaged doing. That's I look for a transport planner job and then I look for the various skills. For example, in there you needed ArcGIS skill, which is some sort of a designing skill, something like that, and data analysis. And at the time I didn't have it. And that's even the next point. At the time I didn't have it. So when I was presenting to them, I was like, okay, to get here I need this skill. Future skills you need, how exactly you will need them. So it's the same thing. You're first of all talking about what you have done in the past, how you use it, and then what you need in the future, how exactly you'll be needing them. Try to be as specific as possible. Don't be generic. For example, I was correcting someone's essay, and in his essay, um, he spoke about computer science. He was like, he's a software developer, so he needs a master's in computer science because he wants to go back and go and educate the people in his community since there's a lack of technology and something. In my opinion, that was very generic because anybody can go back and go and want to do that. So try to be as specific as possible. Your specific role. It should be like it should be something. I don't know if when you're applying for a project grant, you're trying to be as specific. When you're applying for a project grant, it's the people want to see that you've thought about everything in that project. Like you've thought about okay, you need this money to do this. So yeah, it's already well planned and stuff like that. So when you're trying to explain your future skills, try to be as specific as possible. And then the last part, the gap and the need for people like you in your community. The context, just like when I was showing you the my problem tree diagram. So they want to understand that you really have an understanding of the situation in your community, the problem. I think when I was preparing for one fellowship application, and the one guy that I was reading one article, and the person said you do 70% the problem, 30% the solution. So you're trying to explain to them how bad it is and how this is a dire need. I don't know how to pronounce that word, but like it's a need, it's imperative for this to take place to help that community. So that's it about why you, and then why them incorporating keywords from their page. I'm sure when you wrote your your essays, you look for it's just like any when you're writing your cover letter, and they say if it has to pass through this application tracking system, they say use keywords from their page such that if they're using maybe an is a computer, I don't know, computer app or computer software to track it, you can be able to pick your application. So it's the same thing. And just like in this second point, I usually say applying for interviews, applications, grants, everything is like expressing expressing love to someone. If I'm coming to you and I'm saying, okay, I love you or something like that. I'm going to express it in your love language, something you understand, something you resonate with. If it's acts of service, okay, I'll use acts of service to please you. So it's the same thing for schools. If you know that okay, the heartbeat of this scholarship is um okay, yes. Let me take for example, there's this grant that we're applying for. I'm sorry that I'm using a lot of examples from my case, but I just feel like it's easier for me to explain and then from my own experience. So we're applying for these grants where it was more about active travel, like walking and cycling. But our project was focusing on road safety, like preventing people from dying in road crashes. So you see that it really does not align. So I not get that. Did someone say something?
No.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so like speaking to them in a language that they know and a language that they love. So the goal is for them to invest in people that will change. So just show them that you are someone who is going to change your community, change the world, stuff like that. So yeah, and then ask questions, make them talk. This is another secret of interviews. It's not just one way. It's discussing. That's why when you go there, you're not supposed to go maybe prepared answers in your mind. You're going there that okay, when they ask you questions, you ask them back, clarify. Okay, I saw this on your website. Can I know more about it? If I'm a student there, and always use scenarios where you already see yourself as a student there. For example, in my case, they have a center for sustainable living cities and neighborhoods where they carry out like research. So I was really interested, like, okay, as a student here, will I have access to this? Because I look forward when I looked at this. So they just want to know that you're really researched to everything. They also have an urban big data center. So I was like, okay, I saw your urban big data center, you guys do this. As a student there, will I be able to access this? So already see yourself as a student there, and also talk about the city. One thing about the people of Glasgow is that they love when, first of all, there are people who are conservative, so they really love when someone talks about their city. Glasgow is also a very lovely something. So talk about the culture of Scotland. You like to visit, I don't know, you've heard about the Humanitarian Museum, which is in Glasgow itself. You can talk about it. That okay, you love to. It depends on how your conversation is going, how you develop your conversation. If you can reach that end, you say that, all right, I'm also interested in the culture, the people. You have seen maybe stickers of people who make Glasgow, so you want to really understand what it means by people make Glasgow. You want to get that feeling and stuff like that. So just I was talking about the center, mention Renowned Research Center. The University of Glasgow is involved in a lot of health and medicine related researches. I think I visited one of their buildings one time and I saw this ESRCUKRI. It's a very popular grant scheme where they sponsor people to do their research and stuff. So you can talk about it, talk about stuff like that. Because you know that being there, you'll be able to have access to their professors who have this, and it depends. Your not that your career plan must not be um they usually say there's academic and I don't know if technical is the word. I'm just trying to say maybe there's some people who want to go back to their communities um, to work directly, and then there's some people who want to follow the academic path. That's maybe if you want to do a PhD, continue researching, it's still a career path, and so far as your research, you know that okay, this research is going to help your community. You may, yeah, your community. So I think that's it. I think that's it about everything, the scholarship, my experience. I really don't have framed answers to give, but this is just the guideline. And I think if you understand what you understand the scholarship, understand your statement of purpose, understand yourself, and you will just flow. For me, I usually avoid as much as possible to cram answers. So yeah, that's it. And then per program normally from